So guys, welcome to the session. It's a very different session, so lean back and listen and yeah, try to follow. And we will not do any coding here, we will just talk. And I really hope that you like this style of coding. We will also see in a few minutes why, or a few seconds, why I decided to do it this way, because this topic is very complex and how to implement them. So yeah, what the topic will be is IK bones, and yeah, you might find them great or not. I don't like them, to be honest, because they make a lot of issues in character integrations. And normally we have them here, and they are constrained to the hands and to the feet, or the foot left and foot right, and so on. And yeah, if you work with the mannequin skeletons, it's perfectly fine. But if you start using metahumans, you might think, why they are not there? Let's use virtual bones. And so far I know from the community, it seems not to work properly. so I decided to introduce them into the skeleton, but I did not know how to. And normally guys are using Blender, Maya, or any 3D software and add them very easily. But then you have to deal with the export and import of this pipeline. And if you follow this series already, you might know already that I don't like this pipeline for those small tasks. And I said, yeah, it should be possible in Unreal Engine, but so far there's sadly no feature for that. But we can implement them, and yeah, that's the reason why I'm doing it like this way. So we will not write any code here, we will just do a review, and you will learn or experience how I do reviews. It's a very practical way how I do reviews. There's no theory behind it on my view. Sorry. And I just will explain on what stuff I try to take care when I do reviews for code. So yeah, but this time it's a bit strange because I wrote the code and I will review the code. So yeah, let's see if I can still remember how the code works. And yeah, I do this very often to basically clean up my pull requests. If you work with Git or GitHub, GitLab, or any like this web interface, yeah, and it helps me to clean this stuff up and prepare the pull request for a proper review so it can go faster. You will see this pull request is not yet cleaned up. The developer said, it's me, the past Achim said, yeah, it's perfectly fine, it works. As you see here, we have the virtual bounds, everything is fine. I said, yeah, great, let's do a review and see how the stuff works, right? And also for me, reviews are also a kind of knowledge transfers all the time, and also to learn something as well as a reviewer if you don't know the topic, or explain some stuff to the developer which wrote the code. So then it's going forwards and backwards and so on. And I really like reviews, to be honest. I did not like them in the past, but nowadays I really like them because we do them differently, or I do them differently since in the past. So yeah, I explain stuff, as I said, and we will also help each other to make the code better in the implementation so that everyone is happy and can sleep very well during the nights. So yeah, long story short, reviews, let's more focus a little bit how the system works. So how can we introduce those virtual bones as a user? As a user, we have the following, like always, a data table in the TT toolbox content. So yeah, this will be available in version 0.4 for everyone, and I still hope, fingers crossed, it works for everyone. And how we can use them is with the custom struct as usual. Here we have the new bone name, the parent bone name, and the constraint bone name. And yeah, what we need to do is introduce an IK foot root bone. It's the parent is the root, and it's also constrained to the root. So constraint means like something like this. If we take this bone here and move it around, we will constrain this to the right hand, basically. And this one here, we will constrain this to the left hand, this bone. And that's what is meant with this constrained bone name here. Then we go on and say, yeah, we want to have IK foot left bone, and we say the parent is the IK foot root. So that's how the epic skeleton works in Unreal Engine, and we want to constrain it to the foot left. So constraining here means we constrain it in the pose which we see in the preview window, like this one here. So normally if you introduce those bones, you will also, or they will all be here in the root, but that's not how the poses works normally for the epic skeleton. So we can specify this. Then we move on. And yeah, we also need a IK hand root bone, which is constrained to the root, which is parental to the root and constrained to the root. Then we have this IK handgun bone, which we have seen a lot, how to fix it for ALS and make the health object working. This is constrained to the IK hand root bone. Not constrained, it's the parent bone, sorry, I was confused. And here we constrain this to the hand right. That's what most poses come from the characters I know, from the marketplace and so on, the Manny as well. Then, yeah, IK hand left bone, it's parent to the IK handgun bone. Yeah, say this multiple times and it's very funny. And it's constrained to the hand left bone. Same for IK hand right bone, that's also parent to the IK handgun bone, so that we can move them around. So if we, let me explain this as well. So if we have this handgun bone, we can move this to the right, maybe to the middle or to the shoulder here, and then we have still this right handgun bone, not handgun, IK hand right bone, and we can constrain this to here in the pose if you want. So yeah, and then we have all the bones specified, and how we can use this is the following. We can do a right click and say scripted asset actions, and then we click on this one which uses the data table row we found, or we can click on this other menu entry here or menu item, then we can edit from a data table. Then we can click here like all our other tools we developed so far, and then we can say unweighted bone and can specify here the epic skeleton. So you can introduce unweighted bones freely with this tool. It should not only work for this for those IK bones, you can also add new bones to this hand. I did not test this yet, but it should work. So yeah, that's how it works. And yeah, let me also make a screenshot. We will need this later, which you will see during the review, because that's something I don't like currently and needs to be changed. I'm using for screenshots Screenpressor, because this really gives me the possibility to quickly show something in a screenshot. So we let this open and move it to the other screen. So yeah, you might now wondering how the blutility works. So let's also check this one. So here's the editor hooks, and we have a new blutility which is called, I think it's skeleton bone functions. So yeah, here it is. It's always the same structure. Add unweighted bones, then we call this other function which has the data table as a local variable, and then we go through this one. So maybe let's also move this to the left. It looks very weird. So we get the data table row. There's no other message yet, so you might need to introduce one, which we could already say. So let's make a finding here as well. So screenshot as well. So as you see, we can work with this tool quite easily. It's very nice. And please introduce an error message for the user here. So yeah, as you see, we already start reviewing stuff. That's how I review the code most of the time. Just directly get the code on your local machine and dig around with it and say, yeah, this is great, this I don't like, and so on. So we move this also to the right screen and move on. Then we have this local variable where we store the data table row if everything is successful. Then we get the selected assets, iterate over them with the for each loop, like always, cast it to the skeleton, save the skeleton, and do a sequence here. And that's also weird. So why is this sequence here? It makes no sense. So I would prefer to do it like this, so that we process them in a sequence. So that's what we already fixed. And let me move them to the right a little bit to make it more proper. So how does it work? So we have this new C++ function here, which is very complex and was the reason why I don't show it live how we code the function, because yeah, you will see the code is very, very complicated and very complex and so on. So yeah, let's do it in a review and explain the stuff. I think it's more valuable. And yeah, we give them this local variable to a split struct bin and feed the data to this new bounds. That's basically the array we have seen before. And then we have also a new function, which is very interesting. We can do a lot of stuff here. And also, let me make a screenshot here as well, because there is one feature which we can introduce very easily and make the tools a lot better for us. So here we will also write this down. I will explain it in a few seconds what I mean. So what this does here is it requests animation recompression, and you might have seen this already in Unreal Engine when you restart the editor and so on. And this is very helpful if you are, let me quickly add them, let's see if it works. So let's save everything again, because yeah, Unreal Engine might crash, hopefully not. And we say add virtual bounds, so we can still use our stuff here. And maybe let them close them here. So yeah, it can happen that your virtual bounds can we move them? Seems not to be the case. Cannot move them, but it can happen that the virtual bound is here or here or here. So it's not constrained to the target bound basically. And what this function does is it requests the recompression, and magically, I don't know yet why, but it really helps a lot. Thanks, John Connor, for yeah, sharing this on the Discord channel and your YouTube channel. That yeah, it helps to constrain the bounds again, and I just forced the system or Unreal Engine to recompress the stuff. So yeah, as this feature is very helpful, we say the following. So here we can also introduce a text and say, please introduce a new editor hook for this function as well to force virtual bound constraining. So yeah, I think we now covered all the code, and we will click here on compile and click here on save everything and do the following. We go to plugins, TT toolbox, and do a right click commit. And here we have the window, and we here say fixed first review findings, right? And push this to the, oh no, not push this to the master branch, please not. Yeah, I did not yet configure this correctly. I have a feature branch, it's called Unweighted Bounds, and if you follow the ALS Discord animation channel, you might already have seen this feature. So if you don't, you should consider joining the community and also discuss stuff, because if we go to the repository here and we click on pull requests, we see, oh yeah, there's a new pull request for me, of course. So there is no one working on it currently, but I did. And what we did now is we reviewed the structure basically. Let me make this a little bit smaller. Where's the data table? Here's the data table as well. We review the data table. Everything is fine there. But for the skeleton functions, let me see if we can we show commands? No. Oh, sadly, why not? Oh, GitHub is so limited sometimes. So then we do in the conversation. We do it here. That's fine. If I get it working. So here we can write new comments and we say we here drop the feature request. So here we can use this stuff, introduce new editor hook for forcing animation pre-compression. Basically the screenshot we had before. Oh, sadly, does it work? Preview? Yes. So this is one task, and if you click here on comment, you will see that we have somewhere those unresolved tasks. Seems not to be the case that GitHub shows it to us, but yeah, that's what we do. And here's another one as well. So same here, minus bracket open, bracket closed. That's for tasks. I use them very often and I really like them. Please introduce a new error message here. So also preview. Does it work? Yes. So, and also, so what I do is here, click always copy and exit. Sorry, I did not show this to you, but here is also one request I have to the coder, basically. So please move those functions into the, how is it called? So let me quickly check. Into the character tools section, into the character tools section for scripted asset actions. So let me quickly check if this is how I want it to be. Yeah, it's okay, but you can still improve this if you use those small, I don't know the English word for them, sorry guys. On a German keyboard it's shift and left to the backspace key. So it's, I don't know in German, I guess they call it Apostroph. I'm always confused with those signs, but here you can highlight them. If you want to know more about GitHub Markdown language, I will share a link in the video description below so that you can also use those, because I really like to format the text or the comments you have in the pull request so that the other one is more able to read or more easily to read the stuff. So yeah, that's the findings we had so far with the blueprint stuff, and I did it directly in Engine because yeah, it's not possible to review them on GitHub because GitHub does not know how to interpret those binary files, but Unreal Engine does. For C++, we will do this in the next session and then cover the code here and see what could still be improved. But what I totally forgot when I open a pull request, it's the first thing I ever do. So yeah, I say, yeah, thank you developer, you already wrote a description, what you did. So sometimes you see pull requests with no description. I'll say, still to do. And for that, I always give a thumbs up and a rocket and a heart. Hopefully it works, that we can give multiples. And yeah, so yeah, that's basically how I say thank you to the developer. Say, yeah, thank you that you worked on this topic. It's great and amazing. We will do the review and still improve stuff. And also what you can do if you work on open source software like this, thank you already for your contribution. I will, or let's say we will try to get back to you ASAP, as soon as possible, when we find the time. And of course, give you feedback. Looking forward to a great review session with valuable discussion. So it might not be that correct, but yeah, it's still fine. And I'm currently in a little bit rush. I just want to explain how I do the reviews and not be that nitpicking or bite shedding that everything is correctly written and so on. But I think you will get the point how I do the reviews. So yeah, that's what I normally do at first and don't look into the code. But this time we did it wrong. But yeah, you should say thank you and yeah, give it a thumbs up, at least if there is a description, because then the pull request is already prepared quite well. And yeah, and the last thing which I want to cover, then we close the session. So here also I want to say special thanks to, I don't know if I pronounce you correctly, guys, but yeah, thank you a lot for giving me already feedback for this new feature, introduce IK bonds. So for them it worked quite well. And so I might not pronounce you correctly, Corinna Doe, Vlad the Ironclad, Orphic, and John Connor. And also, yeah, for giving me feedback. So we had already 2 iterations. The first one worked perfectly fine on my machine. Like you always, it's great to have something working on your machine, but then you give it to another developer and it breaks. So we went into the second iteration and it seems to be fine that everyone is happy with this approach currently and can introduce easily IK bonds or unweighted bonds in Unreal Engine without leaving the engine and doing some import and export pipeline hell stuff. I don't know how you would call it. So yeah, special thank you to you guys, and hopefully looking forward to more feedback with you and that we can still improve the tools. So yeah, I say we now end the session here because it's quite long already. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments below if you like those sessions with reviews, how I explain how I do stuff and so on. Or if you don't like it, then I will just code it on my own and just give you the feature and don't explain the workflow. So yeah, see you in the next session where we will cover the C++ code and yeah, raise some more findings for the past Achim. See you.